If you're looking for a serious upgrade for your Tundra's front brakes, then this PowerStop Z36 truck and tow kit is for you. Featuring PowerStop's excellent proprietary pad compound with drilled and slotted rotors and brand new calipers, this kit gives you everything you need to stop on a dime every time. Just a quick note on fitment here before we dive in. This kit is designed to fit Tundras made from August 2015 through the 2021 model year. This is a full front brake rotor, pad, and caliper kit that's going to give you everything you need to upgrade your Tundra stopping power. Now, one of the biggest differences versus your stock brakes here are the drilled and slotted rotors. Especially if you're towing or hauling with your truck, which is what this kit is designed to do, these will bring a welcome upgrade versus your standard solid rotors. The holes and the slots that are incorporated into the face here are going to help channel heat and debris away from the face of the rotor and away from the pads. Keeping the brakes from overheating is the key to having them perform properly. The slots direct the heat out, and the drilled holes give that heat another avenue from which to escape through the vents in the center of the disc. So despite these being the exact same size as your factory rotors, these are going to perform much better. Now that is of course helped by the pads. The Z36 pads are a big step up in performance versus your originals, and they're designed without compromise specifically for heavy duty use such as hauling and towing. Now PowerStop utilizes their own proprietary carbon fiber ceramic compound with these. It gives them a really good strong initial bite with minimal fade for improved stopping power. And these are going to be much more heat resistant than stock too. The pads are thermal scorched during manufacturing to help with faster break-in. You can see there's a central slot and stainless steel shims on the back to help keep noise at bay. So that means these bite hard and fast, and they're going to stand up to multiple full-bore stops in a row without fail or making a ton of noise. Now PowerStop also claims that these are virtually dust-free. Now no brake pad is entirely dust-free, but this formula produces very little brake dust, which can help keep your wheels clean. Like I said, there's virtually no compromise. And of course, you get a brand new set of calipers in this kit as well. They've got this really nice red powder coat finish to help give them a little pop of color from behind the wheel well. Now these are 4-piston calipers just like your originals. These aren't any larger than your stock units, but since they are brand new, they're going to give you that additional peace of mind that you've got all new brake hardware, so before you hit the road, you'll know you'll be able to stop quickly and safely every time. Now for what it's worth, I run a set of Z36s on my own truck and have for a few years now. And even loaded up with a heavy car trailer, the PowerStops have been everything they claim and more. Enough so that I've bought PowerStops for other vehicles too, and have yet to be anything but seriously happy with the performance. The rotors are made from cast iron, similar to your stock brakes, but they are made using something called G3000 metallurgy. Now this has a higher percentage of carbon in the metal itself. Like the vanes and the holes in the rotors' faces, this composition is extremely helpful in dissipating heat. The rotors also have a silver zinc plating that's going to help prevent against rust and corrosion, so these are going to look good and they'll perform well for a long time. The pads, as we were talking about, use that proprietary carbon fiber ceramic compound, so you get that excellent heat dissipation, consistent performance, and feel with low dust. The calipers come pre-assembled with all the hardware you need, just as you see them right here on the table, so these are ready to bolt on as well. PowerStop also includes new premium stainless steel hardware and high temp lubricant in the kit, so short of brake lines, this is going to give you everything you need for a full front brake overhaul, and it's really high quality stuff too. About the only compromise you have to make with any of these kits is the price, coming in at around $800. This is not exactly what you call a drop in the bucket. However, good brakes rarely come cheap, and this is not a place you want to skimp out on if your truck sees a lot of usage or you tow or haul all the time. Now, considering that this is a serious performance improvement that includes not only the drilled and slotted rotors, but those new uprated pads and brand new calipers, it's worth it. It's about as close as you can get to a full-on big brake upgrade kit without that big brake price tag. Now in my book, it's worth spending the extra money on good brakes, especially if you use your truck a lot. So if you can find the room in the budget, I highly recommend picking up this kit. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 3 hours to complete. Now this is a job that you can accomplish at home with some time and patience, as everything is designed to bolt onto your truck without the need for further modifications. However, since you are installing new calipers, it's worth remembering that you will need to do a full bleed of your braking system. Now that might sound intimidating if you've never done it before, but it's not a difficult job, just a time-consuming one, and it will require either the use of a brake bleeder tool or another person to help you out with it. But fret not, we're going to walk you through the entire process step by step right now, and for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you will need an impact, a 12mm socket, a 19mm ratcheting wrench, a caliper tool, a 10mm line wrench, a pair of needle nose pliers, a hose, brake cleaner, and brake fluid, and also not shown here is the jack and jack stands and an extra set of hands or vacuum bleeder. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing some brakes on our Tundra, but before we get started we're going to send you to watch a quick video on how to remove your factory brakes, and we'll see you when you get back.
So the first thing we're going to do, now that I have my wheel off, I have our vehicle on the lift. If you're at home on the ground, make sure if you jack your vehicle up, you put jack stands under it so you support it properly. First thing we're going to do is remove this clip right here. I'm going to pull that out. That's going to give us access to punch both our pins out. Then we'll be able to lift up and then remove our brake pads. So now I'm going to take my cutting pliers. I'm just going to get in here just like this. Pop this clip out like that. And then get down here and do the same with the bottom one. Just pull it out. We'll take it off just like that. Once we get that out of the way, we will just be able to push our pins, pull them out. Same with the bottom one. And that'll give us access to lift our pads. And that little clip popped off, but not a big deal. We'll put that on when we put the new ones in, and we'll get our pads out and remove our pads. Next, I'm going to take my 12mm with my 3/8 gun, and I'm going to loosen this bolt up here. That'll give us access to move our brake hose. We'll get that bolt out of the way. That'll let us slide our brake hose off. That way when we get our caliper removed, we'll be able to set it down. This won't be holding it up. So now we have two bolts right here, this one and this one. They're 19mm. I'm going to take a 19mm on a breaker bar and break these two loose. They are usually on pretty tight. So I'm just going to get them loose with my breaker bar. Just like that. Then I'll switch over to my 1/2" drive ratchet with my 19mm and bring them out the rest of the way. Same on the bottom one here. And once I get them loose enough, I'll be able to remove them by hand. And same with the bottom one. And that'll allow us to slide our caliper off. And I'm going to just let it hang just there, right like that. Last, what we're going to do is just grab a hold of the rotor. Now sometimes you have to smack it with a hammer right here. Ours is pretty loose. It's a newer vehicle, so I'm just going to be able to grab it, slide it right off.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now that we have our factory brakes off, we're going to begin installing our new setup. Now, we still have our factory caliper hooked up to our brake line and hanging, so we want to wait until we install everything else. That's going to minimize the amount of time and fluid loss that we have our brake line open while we're transferring that over to our new caliper. So we're going to start with our new rotor. Now these are labeled for each side. We're on the passenger side. So we're going to stick this on. Just like so. Now to better hold this rotor in place, we're going to grab one of our lug nuts and just thread that onto our stud. It's just going to keep it a little bit straighter to help us with installing the caliper and pads. Keeps it a little less wonky. So we'll get our lug nut. And we'll just thread this on. Okay, now we're going to install our new caliper. We're going to reuse our factory 19mm bolts. We'll get this in place. You want to make sure the bleeder is up top, just like the factory one. Get this lined up. And we'll get our top mounting bolt in. We're going to take our 19mm ratchet wrench and tighten these down. Now we'll get our pads in place. Your inner one is going to have the wear indicator. Slide this in. Line it up with your pins. We'll get our outer pad in. Same way. Now we can install our top pin first. Now doing this at home, you want to put some grease on these. It's always a good idea. Get that through. You want to make sure this hole is kind of facing almost in towards the center, but not directly. Now for our bottom pin, we're going to get this retainer in first. Hook that into both of our pads. Sometimes these are a little bit tricky. Those in. Take our pin. Get that through. Once again, you want to face the hole at about a 45. And we'll get our retainer pin. That in both of our slider holes. And get this seated in our caliper, just like so. Now we can take our brake line off of our factory caliper and swap it over to our new one. Now I am going to hook this back onto the hook just to kind of take the pressure off of the line. We've got a 10mm line wrench. We're going to undo this and we're going to swap it directly over to our new caliper. So hook this back on here. Just going to make things easier. We're going to crack this loose. Now we do have a bucket because you are going to lose some fluid in doing this. It is going to get a little messy. Again, this is why we wanted to wait until last. So now that we've got that off, make sure our bucket catches all of our drips. As you can see, the fluid's coming out pretty good. Get this lined up. Now we'll get our old caliper out of the way. Take our line wrench and tighten this down. Now the very next thing you want to do once you have this tightened down is grab some brake clean, spray this whole area down, especially your fitting, clean everything off to make sure nothing's leaking. Alright guys, so now that you have your first side on, you want to repeat the same process for the other side. Once you have them on, you want to make sure to torque your hardware down to the manufacturer recommended specifications, and we'll come back and show you how to bleed your brakes because you will need to do that for this as well. Alright, so our next step is going to be bleeding our brakes. Now before you start bleeding, you want to come into your engine bay to your brake master cylinder reservoir. You want to open that up. You want to make sure this is topped off to the full mark before you start bleeding because you don't want to run your master cylinder dry. It's going to cause you a lot of issues. So we've got our brake fluid. Now you want to get the appropriate brake fluid. For this truck it is .4. And we're going to top this off before we start. It's just going to keep everything safe. Then as we go along bleeding, we're going to check our level to make sure that it remains topped off. And then once you finish bleeding, you want to make sure it's still topped off, and then you want to reinstall your cap. Now one more thing we'll need to do, now that we know nothing's leaking and our line is in the right spot and not kinked or anything, we're going to reinstall our brake line bracket. So we're going to take our 12mm bolt back out. We'll get our bracket in place. Get that bolt back in. And we'll take our 12mm socket on our impact, tighten this down. So now there's a couple ways you could approach bleeding your brakes. If you're doing this by yourself, you can get a vacuum bleeder, which is available at most automotive parts stores. Or if you have an extra set of hands or feet in this case, you want to have a buddy sit in your vehicle and pump your brakes up and hold it while we crack our bleeder loose, and we'll hook a hose to that bleeder and let the fluid run out. Now you want to make sure that you watch the stream when the fluid does come out. You want it to be a solid stream, no air bubbles. Once you get a nice solid stream, you know that the brakes are bled and you can move on to the next wheel. Now, you always want to start the farthest away from the master cylinder. So since we're doing front brakes, we're going to start on the passenger side, and then you can do the same thing for the driver's side. All right, so we've got our buddy in the truck, and the first thing we're going to do is pop the cover off of our bleeder. Sometimes these are a little stubborn to come off. And once we've got that off, we'll get our 10mm line wrench on our bleeder and then our hose onto the nipple of our bleeder. Now we're going to have our buddy pump up the brakes. Give it a few pumps. Now hold it, and we'll crack our bleeder loose. And we'll get our stream coming out, then we'll close that back up because we want to build the pressure back up. So pump them up, hold, crack this loose. Now we're starting to get a steady stream again, so pump them up, hold, pump them up, hold, then you want to check and make sure you have brake feel from your buddy, and then once you have a steady stream with no air bubbles, you can do the same thing for the other side. So we'll take our hose off, we'll reinstall our cover, then you can move on to doing the other side, and then you want to remember to top off your fluid once you're done. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our PowerStop Z36 Extreme Truck and Tow 5-lug brake rotor pad and caliper kit for the front of your late 15 to 21 Tundra. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Tundra, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.